Now at 10, crews in Neosho, Missouri take down a nearly 100-year-old water tower. Plus, Joplin police enjoy a field trip to South Middle School for a police camp. And a Parsons standout beats the odds to make his football dreams come true.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A structure that stood in Neosho, Missouri for nearly a century is now in pieces. This is KOIM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. The city today demolished the water tower at Dewey and Finney Avenue. It was built back in 1926 and decommissioned in 1984. Neosho officials called the tank an eyesore and said it had served its purpose. The city, the job of raising the nearly 100-year-old relic, fell to finding the right demolition company.
It's about 110 years old, and it's just a concern for as a danger structure for the area.
Because I wanted to come see the water tower get taken down. I've never seen this happen.
The current remaining water tower, built in 1956, has a 400,000-gallon tank. A 5-year-old boy is dead following an accident involving a semi-tractor unit today in a small Jasper County, Missouri community. Police say the truck was parked in a private driveway in the village of Reeds, and the driver was standing on the driver's side steps with the engine running. Authorities say the truck was put into gear and jolted forward, striking the 5-year-old boy from Lockwood, Missouri. The child died at the scene. At last report, authorities had not yet released the name of that boy. Authorities in Neosho County, Kansas are investigating a fatal crash involving a bicycle last night. Troopers say a bicyclist on Santa Fe Avenue collided with the side and rear of a vehicle making a right turn. That bicyclist, 67-year-old Harvey Morris Love of Chanute, died at the scene. Let's check in with meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney now for our first look at the weather.
It's a great looking evening. Temperatures down to the lower 70s, a light southwesterly breeze, and clear skies. So we're looking pretty good for the rest of the night and most of the day tomorrow. Temperatures across the region, 77 in Nevada, 75 in Fort Scott. So nice 70-degree weather in the evening. I love temperatures like that. It makes it really wonderful to go outside. We do have a heat advisory for tomorrow in our far northern counties, Lynn, Anderson, and Coffee counties. And that's from about 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. tomorrow. So if you live up north, it's going to be high heat, humidity, and pretty muggy. Just stay hydrated out there, and we do have a few thunderstorms in the forecast as well, and I'll have those details in just a bit.
Catching a few. Joplin Soup Kitchen is seeking donations to feed a growing number of clients. The Soup Kitchen volunteers at St. Peter's Outreach House, starting to prep those meals at 8 a.m. to pass out hundreds of to-go meals by 11 a.m. However, as the demand grows, it's harder to keep their shelves stocked.
We're averaging now a minimum of 400 a day. Today we're anticipating it could be as many as 500. And we're seeing, since the children are out of school, we're seeing a lot of children coming too.
St. Peter's Outreach House is open Monday through Wednesday and Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. KOIM and Fox 14 are starting a summer food drive as part of our Feed the 4 States campaign. Local food pantries like that have struggled since COVID, so any size donation really does make a difference. As part of our summer food drive, we ask that you bring donations to your local food pantry, whatever that is, either in the form of cash or non-perishable food items. You can find a list of food pantries in the area on our website. Go to koimnewsnow.com/feed. Joplin Police Department is putting on a police camp for kids at South Middle School. The entire week is filled with information about the department and demonstrations performed by the officers. Today, students got to engage with the department's SWAT division. They could get inside the SWAT armored vehicle and interact with some of the equipment used by the SWAT team.
We're able to interact with kids where it's as a controlled environment and everything. It's not a bad situation that our SWAT team is potentially dealing with or anything.
That they're not always bad. They can do good things, but most of the time they don't mean bad. Just sometimes the people that they're trying to get, they just don't cooperate.
Some students told us their favorite part of today's event was playing hide and seek with the police drone. The Crawford County, Kansas Historical Museum hosted another round of Wacky Wednesday today. For the month of June, the museum is inviting kiddos out for some fun and educational demonstrations. And today's event, called Little Museum on the Prairie, taught the kids how to make hand-dipped candles and apple juice, also how to butter churn and do some corn swelling and clothes washing, just like the pioneers.
We take what has really worked well in the past and that the parents have requested, oh, are you going to do Little Museum on the Prairie again this year? Or are you going to make homemade ice cream? So we try to build on what we've done in the past and make it a little bit better, a little bit bigger.
The museum has 2 more Wacky Wednesdays left this month, including Life on the Trail on the 19th, Baby Goats and Farmhouse Ice Cream on the 26th. Maybe the best part of Wacky Wednesdays, this is kind of wacky, they're absolutely free. As Southeast Kansas Nature Center celebrates 20 years, the folks at Shimmerhorn Park are pointing out some natural wonders, like the fact that a cave in the park is home to lots of interesting critters, including 2 species of salamanders. The cave long-tailed and grotto salamanders are lungless and are unique to the Ozark area.
What's cool about them here is that in Kansas, it's political boundary, but they're very rare because we only have 55 square miles of Ozark Plateau in the state. So you can't get very far out of the Ozarks and see these at all.
The park is open every day from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Kids in Southeast Kansas head to Lincoln Park for some pirates and puppets. That's coming up. But first, a fleet of Russian warships arrives in Havana just ahead of planned military exercises with that island nation. A fleet of Russian warships passed just 30 miles off the Florida coast today before heading south to Cuba. The ships are expected to participate in military exercises, which might be part of a high-profile response to the Biden administration's support for Ukraine. Michael George has more.
The 4-ship Russian flotilla was greeted by a 21-gun salute as it pulled into Havana Harbor Wednesday. Locals came out to snap photos as the Russian crews stood at attention. This is very important for our country, this Cuban explains. This is a friendly visit. The fleet's submarine is nuclear powered, but U.S. officials say they don't believe it's carrying nuclear weapons. 2 of the ships are armed with guided missiles, ready to participate in planned military exercises in the Caribbean.
We, of course, take it seriously, but these exercises don't pose a threat to the United States.
U.S. officials say Russia has sent naval deployments to Cuba under every presidential administration since George W. Bush. But this one follows President Biden's decision to allow Ukraine to strike inside Russia with U.S. weapons.
The visiting Russian warships to Cuba are Vladimir Putin's way of reminding President Biden that Moscow can challenge Washington in its own sphere of influence, too.
A U.S. fleet, including ships equipped with sonar, shadowed the Russians as they traveled across the Atlantic and will follow the Russians again when the exercises conclude.
We're always constantly going to monitor any foreign vessels operating near U.S. territorial waters.
As for President Biden, he's now in Italy to participate in the G7 summit. Sources tell the Associated Press the 7 countries have agreed to provide Ukraine with $50 billion, backed by frozen Russian assets. Mr. Biden and Ukraine's president are also expected to sign an agreement committing the U.S. to Ukraine security for the next 10 years without committing U.S. troops. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Russia's foreign minister hosted his Cuban counterpart in Moscow today and thanked Havana for their position on Ukraine. The Russian fleet could visit Venezuela next week. 4 more states have joined the U.S. government's landmark antitrust suit against Apple. According to a court filing, Indiana, Massachusetts, Nevada, and Washington have joined that lawsuit. That brings the total number of non-federal plaintiffs to 19 states, plus the District of Columbia. The U.S. government and the states sued Apple in March. They accused the iPhone maker of illegally monopolizing the smartphone market. Oklahoma's top court has spoken on reparations for survivors of the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre, and that answer is no. 3 survivors filed the lawsuit back in 2020. It sought compensation for the racially motivated destruction of Tulsa's Greenwood neighborhood, which at the time was known as Black Wall Street. The plaintiffs argued that law provides a right to reparations. Oklahoma's Supreme Court agreed with the district court's decision, but went on to say even though the plaintiffs' grievances are legitimate, they do not fall within the scope of the state's public nuisance statute. Does your dog get the zoomies? Well, there might be a reason and a medical term for it. Dr. Elsa Stewart at Missouri's Mills Animal Hospital says the behavior is known as frenetic random activity period, or FRAP for short. While FRAP is typically a dog thing, cats, horses, donkeys, cows, a lot of species are known to do similar activities. A trainer for the Zoom Room Dog Training Center in Crestwood, Missouri says the zoomies are normal. Dr. Stewart says if your dog is loose and wiggly and carefree, that's the sign of a happy zoomie. R meets the Pittsburgh Public Library brought out the Pirates today for the Adventure Begins Summer Storytime session. The session runs from June 3rd through July 24th, and Tuesday and Wednesday story times take place at 10 a.m. in the shade at Lincoln Park. The fun was even more special with the addition of pirates, that's the R, and puppets. A little bit later, a police officer in Arkansas shows the meaning of the word service.
And temperatures are continuing to warm up. We may have some storms in the forecast as well. We'll talk about that right after the break. Well, it's a pretty nice evening. We'll go ahead and take a look outside at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Temperatures are in the lower 70s, a nice little southerly breeze. So if you're spending any time outdoors tonight, it's a good night for it. Now, we do have a heat advisory for tomorrow, be about 1 p.m. to 8 p.m., mostly for south and central Kansas, but just outside of our viewing area, we've got Lynn, Anderson, and Coffee counties that are under that heat advisory, with heat index being above 105 degrees. So our area is staying below triple digits. Still, it's going to be pretty hot tomorrow, and you don't want to spend too much time outside unless you're staying hydrated. Heat is the silent killer. We're only in the 90 to 105 degree range as of right now, but in the next couple months we will start to really warm up, and that's when heat exhaustion and heat stroke are more likely. But right now, just stay hydrated. Try to take some breaks if you're having to do any outdoor work. Tomorrow, we're only getting up to about 90 degrees. Some counties, especially in our southern and western counties, getting a little bit warmer than that, mid-90s. And our eastern counties, maybe a little bit cooler, maybe just upper 80s. It's going to be pretty sunny and humid as well. That is another reason why those heat indexes are so high. Now, we also have an isolated thunderstorm in the evening time, just one passing through about 11 p.m. And that's due to a trough that's far north, but it is bringing us a few of those storms as they pass through the area. But it will start to dissipate as it moves through the area. We'll go ahead and take a look at that as well as it moves in about 11 p.m. And it's more widespread as it moves through Kansas City. But by the time it gets to our area, Yates Center, Fort Scott, Parsons, and Nevada getting hit, and then by the time it hits the Joplin Metro, really just dissipates. Maybe some showers by Friday about 1 a.m. But after that, it really just falls apart, and we're going to stay dry until the next night. We've got another chance of some storms passing north of us, so Kansas City, but those northern counties, Yates Center, Fort Scott, Nevada, again, possibly getting some light showers, maybe some thunder as well. But again, not going to be severe. We are in the summer season, so we are more prone to having those just evening storms that pop up every now and then. Temperatures on Saturday getting up to mid-90s. We're at 94 for our high in Joplin, but like I said, those southern and western counties are going to be a little bit warmer than that, seeing temperatures in the mid to upper 90s by the weekend. And then we've got another storm chance on Sunday. Again, just the one isolated storm or two passing by in the evening. Cools us off a little bit. We're back down to the lower 90s. And then another chance on Wednesday for a late isolated thunderstorm or two. Now, the overnight lows getting down to the mid to lower 70s, so we don't cool off too much, but those 70-degree temperatures are really nice. So I would say get out there and enjoy them while you can before we really start to warm up.
As if that's not warm enough already, I guess.
Unfortunately, we are forecasted to be pretty hot this summer.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. A lot of police departments carry the logo to protect and to serve, and most people see officers primarily in their protect mode, but there's one amazing story of service. Hunter Hoffman reports from Jonesboro, Arkansas.
Near the corner of Brazos Street and Parkwood Road sits a home with a fresh-cut lawn, and where a gesture of kindness was shown by a Jonesboro police officer. Shirley Calhoun is a caregiver for the homeowner, helping him out any way she can.
So this particular day, he was talking about how bad his yard looked. So I went to my house and got my lawnmower, and I was cutting the ditch.
That's when Calhoun was stopped by Jonesboro police officer Tommy Miller.
First, he asked me, can he help me? And so I thought he was looking for somebody or something. And he said, I said, no, I appreciate it though. He said, are you sure?
Calhoun decided to take Miller up on his offer and let him finish cutting the grass. Calhoun said Officer Miller's actions that day took her by surprise.
I said, why did you do that? He said, well, we are supposed to help one another.
When I'm driving around, I'm looking for opportunities to try to help people. So I saw one and figured I'd be able to help her out.
Miller said moments like these are one of the reasons why he became an officer in the first place.
There's so much bad stuff on social media that I want to give people firsthand positive experiences with law enforcement.
Miller added he didn't do it for the recognition, saying it's his job to make a difference in the community.
I'd hope that somebody would do that for one of my family members, so I'm trying to be that person for somebody else.
As for Calhoun, she said Miller's actions gave her a new perspective on law enforcement.
Now, any police I see, I wave at them or speak to them or, because he was just that nice. He made a world of difference to me. He did. He really did.
Nice story. Calhoun says the homeowner she helps care for is also grateful to Miller. Still ahead, beating the odds. John Dales has the story of a Parsons athlete who overcame adversity to accomplish his gridiron goals. An incoming college freshman from Parsons has overcome long odds to continue his football career. KOAM Sports Director John Dales has the story on the former Viking preparing to play at the next level.
Jace Queeran is going to be signing to play football at the University of Central Arkansas.
Central Arkansas football signee and Parsons graduate Jace Queeran has been playing the sport for a long time.
I started playing football in third grade. Back then I played a little bit of linebacker, a lot of defense, and I wasn't very good at it.
Quickly though, Queeran found the position for him. Kicker.
I started doing it like at that third grade, fourth grade year when they just said, hey, we need somebody to do it, and I wasn't very good, so I wasn't getting a lot of playing time. So I was like, a way to see the field, cool. But then about my seventh grade year, eighth grade year, I kind of embraced it as like the thing that I might be good at if I worked hard at it.
Hard work is an understatement.
That entailed kicking a lot. You're not supposed to kick as much as I did, but I'd just be out there on the field all day, every day kicking. We built a goalpost in our yard, actually.
You heard that right. A full-length goalpost in the Queeran family's yard.
It started kicking over the basketball goal in the front yard because it's the same height as the crossbar. But then we turned into me and my grandpa building a goalpost out in the side of our yard.
But early in his high school career, a life-changing event kept Queeran off the field.
We had a side-by-side rollover my freshman year right when I qualified for state golf. So ended up having 23 broken bones, 2 torn ligaments in my foot. And the doctors were worried about me walking. That's what my mom was really worried about.
Which led to a long recovery process.
So it ended up being three surgeries that we had to go through, one in June, one in July, one in the beginning of August. So I got to school. I was able to use crutches at school that year.
After missing his entire sophomore year, Queeran returned to the field and was successful enough to get a D1 offer from Central Arkansas, all of which he says wouldn't be possible without the support from those around him.
This town is filled with great people, and it's a really special place, and you just don't experience that if you haven't gone through something like I have. You know, if you haven't had that community rally behind you, you probably don't think that this is the best place in the world. But once you've experienced what I've experienced from this town, you see that you're really grateful to be here.
With the Parsons community behind him, Queeran begins his college football career at Central Arkansas this fall. John Dales, KOAM Sports.
Quirin's freshman season at Central Arkansas begins on August 31st against Arkansas State. For more details on that story, head to the sports page on our website, koamnewsnow.com/sports. We'll be right back. Commerce Days got underway this evening in Commerce, Oklahoma. Folks flocked to the high school to enjoy some food and arts and crafts, vendors, games, carnival rides. As you see, that carnival was until 10. Live music then from the Full Throttle Band.
It's a fun place, family friendly. Basically, if you want funnel cakes, any kind of carnival food, come here.
So far, actually, I think it's kind of fun. It's really kid-friendly and really animal-friendly, and I think it's probably one of the best places to bring, if you have kids or pets, bring them out here.
Yeah, pets, kids, fun, carnival food, what more do you ask? Commerce Days runs through Saturday. Might be a bit warm out there, but it looks like it'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm sure it is fun. But yeah, temperatures are getting up into the 90s. Saturday is our hottest day on the forecast so far, up to about 94. Got a couple evening thunderstorms in the forecast Thursday, Friday, and again Sunday. Nothing severe, just some evening showers. Maybe, hopefully, bring in some cooler, air to the 90-degree temperatures.
Yeah, we need that 90-degree plus for a while, it appears.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. Don't forget the morning show starts at 5 a.m. and let's make it a great tomorrow.
Captioning on